everyone! Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we're going to be making avocado earrings. Let's go! It's avocado time! I started off as usual with a lump of clay, which I rolled into a ball and began to slowly sculpt into one half of an avocado. I did them one by one because I wanted the halves to fit together perfectly. And who doesn't like perfectly fitting avocado halves? Using an X-Acto knife to shave off chunks and a bit of liquid to keep the clay wet, I poked a little hole in the middle of my first half. All of these steps are part of an iterative process, which I repeated over and over and over again. Fun times. Next, because I was young and naive back then, I used an old toothbrush and the ball end of my sculpting tool to begin to texture the back of my first avocado half. While a great choice of tools, it ended up being a waste of time, for reasons you'll find out soon enough. After those precious minutes of my life I will never get back, I inserted the screw eye pins into the still soft clay. After that, it was sanding time. But I kinda sanded it a bit too much and made it as flat as a pancake that is too flat. It didn't look quite natural. Moving on, I took a little piece of clay and pressed it into the little hole I pre-made for the pit. I was hoping that the hole would help the new clay stick to the hardened clay better and not require superglue, which I decided to spare for this project. Now for the big awesome hack I thought out that surely nobody ever thought of before.
This is the first time trying something like this, so I sure hope it won't go wrong.
I made the second hemisphere of the avocado by pressing the new clay onto the pre-made half and shaping the outer half on top of it. This would make the two halves fit perfectly together afterwards. Except of course not, due to a slight, certainly unplanned miscalculation on my part. Cue a month-long break in which I wasn't working on anything, as mentioned in my last video.
University.
When I come back to it this summer, there was one major thing that bothered me about the current stage and the reason why I called these earrings a little shit in my recent short.
Look at this unfinished piece of shit. Unfinished earring piece of shit. This is like a little piece of shit. Like a little shit.
The half with the pit was a lot bigger and fatter than the other half, looking very unbalanced. So I added clay to the smaller half and took a bit away from the other. Hence my earlier claim of wasting time texturing the back of this segment. I also rolled a bit of clay into a bunch of tiny balls and stick them onto the outsides to make the texture extra bumpy and exaggerate it a little bit. Then came the satisfying part, painting the miniatures with acrylics. The hardest part is creating a smooth gradient between the greens and the yellows. The trick is to do wet blends. After applying the paint, go back in with a slightly damp brush and carefully smooth out the edges. And right after I finished painting and proudly showed the earrings to my mom, I noticed that the darn wedges no longer fit perfectly together because, big surprise, a layer of acrylic paint is actually something feasible and has a physical presence and does thickness in this world. Who would have thought? And there would also be at least one layer of finish too. So of course I went back and scraped a little bit off the seed as well as the hole on the other side. Where have we seen this before?
I decided to go back and use sandpaper on it and then repaint it.
After that, I finished off the painting job using my two favorite techniques, washes and dry brushing. For the finishing touches, it was time for varnish. I went for a matte finish on the insides and a glossy finish on the outsides. It all went pretty well until I realized I struggled to open the bottle with the glossy finish. And I needed to go as far as to turn off my Spotify to get it open.
Just kidding, this is a recreation. It's very easy.
But at the end of the day, I completed the challenge, and my dad was left alone. Attaching the hooks is just a case of adding a jump ring in between the screw eye pin and the hook, which of course you need to buy. Make sure that the eye pin is in the correct orientation so that the finished earrings will point to the front, otherwise you might have to add an additional jump ring. Also, crying is totally acceptable during this process. The only important thing is that you don't do whatever strange idea I came up with when I made my first earrings.
It doesn't seem to... How do I do this?
Without any further ado, are you ready for the final result? Presenting the earrings. I'm actually quite pleased with the final result. I love how vibrant the colors turned out. And while I might not have been able to fully disguise the cementy texture of the air dry clay, I must say that it quite looks like two avocado halves. Well, maybe the colors are a little bit too vibrant. They do seem a little radioactive, I must say. Let me know what you think. Plus, no matter how much I despise air dry clay, and trust me, I do, it's so hard to work with. One thing does work in its favor. It's very lightweight, and that's perfect for earring projects. I might still leave it for polymer clay though. I have sculpted with polymer clay since, and I enjoyed it so much more than this particular air dry clay. I'm not gonna get that one again. I might try it with a different air dry clay, but that one, it's a piece of work. Or maybe I'm just bad at it. Anyways, I'm still very experimental in my YouTube phase. I don't really know what kind of content to post. So if you're there and you have an idea of what you want to see, let me know. I'm considering publishing devlogs though, because I started working on my game project on Twitch. So
It's supposed to be a management simulation type, construction type, cozy game with a theme of campsites. So you're building your perfect, I think that's what I call it in English, or is it called a camping? It's supposedly you're building the campsite. I lost my train of thought.
be sure to check out my Twitch in the description, as well as my other socials. I have a Ko-fi. I'm heavily considering opening earring commissions, because I really love making earrings, and especially love making them for someone. I don't know, something about it, just like I put in more work if I do it for someone. In my head I'm like, are they gonna like it? And that inspires me to put even more effort in. I don't know. I would love to make earrings for someone. If that's interest, let me know. Anyways, gotta catch my bus. Really do. Bye. Also, please subscribe. I would love to be able to know what it's like to have many subscribers. I'd love to know the feeling, you know. Wanna help me with that? Today I'm going to be making avocado. I'm wearing them.